Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Royal Instinct. Today we'll be looking at a video by Joe Rogan and Chris Williamson, where they'll be discussing psychopaths. And the reason why we're looking at this video is because there are psychopaths out there in the world. And the thing about psychopaths is that they don't have no moral compass in terms of where they worry about consequences. They are willing to do anything to get ahead in life, anything in order to be on top, to gain power. And because they don't worry about consequences, because they are able to not have that inner dialogue thinking, oh, what if something goes wrong, they are able to just spring into action and advance much further than most good people are able to. um I believe I am a good person, and most people who are watching this will be a person who's also good. We need to come together, and we need to overtake and take back from these psychopaths, because if we don't, then all there's left in humanity is these psychopaths. So for that reason, we need to overcome whatever mental barriers that we have, whatever thing that is holding us back, all the self-doubt, all the self-pity, all the negative self-talk, and kind of take a leaf out their book. We need to spring into action. We need to be out here advancing, leveling up, becoming famous. And the reason why always say is to become famous, because that is where the opportunities are. If you want to make a lot of money, become famous, and then the money will pour your way. If you want to date the most beautiful women in the world, become famous, and then all the pussy will be flowing your way. If you want to hang around with the coolest people, if you want to meet other kings like myself, if you want to join me in taking over, dethroning all the fake elites, all the psychopaths, all the sociopaths, all the narcissists, then you need to join. We need to join forces and be ready to battle and take back what is truly ours. But let's get back to this video and see what Chris and Joe have to say.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
I learned about the adaptive reason for psychopaths being in society. So you'd think like it's about 1%, 0.1% to 1% of people are psychopathic, right? And then you can filter that down to the ones that have got sufficient motivation to actually go and do.
So characteristics of a psychopath are actually extremely attractive to women, because a psychopath is willing to go further, to push himself. He's willing to take the spotlight. He is comfortable in taking resources. And women don't care if they're dating a nice guy, a bad guy, a loser or whatever. Like, all they want is the winner. So it doesn't matter what you do, how you do it, which is why drug dealers and criminals get a lot of attention from women. Because it is attractive for a woman that, oh, there's a man who doesn't fear consequences and is willing to defy authority, to be number one, to take what's his, and that's who a female wants. You don't have to be a dickhead about it. You don't have to be a prick about it, but you need to be able to have the ability to do that. I think, whatever you think about Jordan Peterson, one of the good things I think he said was, he said it was a conversation between Jordan Peterson and Joe Rogan. He said, you need to have the capability of a beast, but then have also the ability to restrain it. So you need to be able to be a warrior, you need to be able to, I forgot now. You need to be able to, basically, you need to be able to fuck shit up. All right, in simple words, you'll be able to fuck shit up and not fear the consequences. And then you also need to be able to have the ability to control that. So if you have the best of both worlds, you know, you can do what psychopaths do, but then also pick and choose when you do it. That's when you'll be a wise king, a philosopher king, a kind king, or otherwise you'll just be a total psychopathic, bloodthirsty tyrant. And you'll be, if you can install fear and kindness and love, then why not do both?
Something that's a bit wild. But I was asking this guy, the researcher, and I was saying, look, what is it? How do psychopaths even exist? Like, why do they exist? I can't understand why they're adaptive. I know that you can be effective over short periods as a psychopath, but over long periods of time, it doesn't end up being very good for society. And I thought it would have been bred out. And he said, yeah, you're right, except for the fact that over the entire size of a population, a few psychopaths actually make sense.
And what tends to happen is that these psychopaths tend to rise to the top very quickly. We are in a period of time where we are, you know, AI is going to take over. You know, we're having constant technological advances. You know, AI is going to displace a lot of people and make them redundant. They won't be needed in the labor force anymore. Your jobs will be taken away. And then once your ability to earn money is taken away, then you become redundant to society. And then what? And then are you just going to live on benefits for the rest of your life? Are you going to be able to feed yourself, feed your family? No. But you know, you probably won't have any children at that point. You know, you'll be lonely, you'll be by yourself. And many people are sleepwalking their way through life right now. They don't understand what's coming. The only way to protect yourself is by joining the elites. And how do you do that? Right? Well, you need to garner fame. You need to garner attention. You need to be able to have a platform, have a following. And the best way to do it is by becoming a subject matter expert. And the reason why I say become a subject matter expert is because, I mean, you can get your arsehole out on OnlyFans if that's what you want. But you know, there's much more. There's better way of doing things, especially if you want to be a person who's got high self-esteem. You know, if you want to be kind of proud of the work that you do. But by becoming a subject matter expert, you pick a subject that is of interest to you. You pick a subject where you're passionate about, that maybe you're knowledgeable about it, maybe you're not, right? But you're willing to really learn and get deep into the subject. And what you do is you progress. You record your progress. Okay, you document it. You document your journey on becoming a subject matter expert. And all you would have to do is each day just get your phone out and do like, oh, today I learned blah blah blah. Okay, just a 5-minute video about your findings. If you can do more, great, but minimum 5 minutes, you know, just a little quick catch up. And what will happen is you will increase your speaking abilities. You'll be you'll be better at presenting yourself. You'll be better at talking to a camera. So you become more charismatic. It takes about 6 months, maybe even less, depending on where you're starting at. But let's just say 6 months. In 6 months' time, you'll be proud of what you're doing. You'll be living a life where you're happy. You're researching a subject that is of interest to you, where you're really curious about it. And all you would have to do is just read a bunch of books in that 6 months time span, and then just record, give an update of what your learnings are in that 6 months, right? Especially if you're journaling alongside it, you actually come up with new different ideas of, oh, actually I learned this thing from this book, I learned this thing from this book. And then, you know, you're able to summarize your own ideas at that point. And you'll be comfortable, confident on speaking on that subject, right? So and then after 6 months, like, you know, as you're doing it, you're progressing, your channel, you're gaining a following, you are becoming someone who people are rooting for. You know, to see someone who's going from beginner to intermediate to master, that's people love an underdog story. So people will be on your side. You know, you might think, oh, people will laugh at me or whatever, but in essence, it's like no one's got the balls to do this, right? You might think everyone's got a fucking YouTube channel, but they truly don't. Most people don't even understand how important this is going forward. If you don't have a following, if you don't have a good social media, and when I say good social media, I don't just mean a good amount of pictures, like, you know, you in a Lamborghini or whatever, but more than that, it's having people interact with your social media who really care about you, okay, who care about your progress, who care about what you have to say. And once you do that and other people see that you have a following, that people are interested in what you have to say, just by that they'll be like, oh, this guy must be important. You know, I don't care what this guy says, but because he has a following, because he's got 10,000 followers, he must be important, therefore I'll treat him like a VIP. And then you level up, you've got some fame now, you're an important person, you're an authority on the subject that you are interested in, and you know, the money opportunities come your way, the best business deals, the best dating opportunities, the best social opportunities. Other kings such as myself will want to be friends with you because, you know, when you're a king, you want to be friends with other kings. When you have a big following, you tend to hang around with people with a big following. That's who you do deals, that's who you do collaborations with. And that's the only way left now if you want to live a high quality, happy life. Everything else is going to be displaced by AI. In the next few years, AI will become so strong that it will be able to make its own content. You know, they'll make its own avatar. The avatar will present its content, or it might use historical figures, right? Like imagine Winston Churchill, AI Winston Churchill making content. People be like, oh yeah, I remember Winston Churchill. You know, he helped defeat Hitler. I want to follow him, and that will be the world we live in. Virtual reality is going to come and destroy the world as we know it. You know, you just have to think that, you know, humans became top of the food chain by, you know, when there was elephants, lions, tigers, wolves, bears, you know, you name it, alligators. All these animals could either trample us or eat us alive. Yet because we were smarter than them, we were able to dethrone them and take over the globe. And AI's processing capabilities, AI's ability to learn and think unemotionally, logically, strategize within just minutes or seconds, right? No human will ever be able to compete. So there's a small opportunity that you have right now before AI completely takes over, because it's here, it's at our doorsteps, right? The enemy is here, the invaders are here, and nobody's panicking, right? There should be a panic. This is like a nuclear bomb going off, but nobody gives a fuck. People are asleep. They're too busy watching Netflix, too busy watching Love Island or whatever shitty program. They're too invested in the culture war. There's not going to be no culture war left, right? There's not going to be no cultural war left because, you know, people are worried about trans rights or whatever, right? When you can't put food in your mouth because it's too fucking expensive, like, are you going to give a shit about trans rights? So we're living in you know, we're living in strange times. We're living at the end. You know, the only way to survive is to go to the top, and you do that by becoming famous. If you're interested in working with me, if you're interested in knowing how to do this, then go to royalinstinct.com and we can see if we can work together.
You're a raiding party, a Viking raiding party that needs to go over and fuck everybody up in Lindisfarne, which is near to where I lived in the UK. You want some psychopaths. You don't want them to come back with PTSD. You want them to go over there, burn everything down, rape the women, pillage, come back with gold and supplies and grain and whatever else they take, and not care about it.
And that's it. The psychopaths get everything. They pillage everything. They get all the resources that they want. They get all the spoils of war, because they don't care. They don't feel no remorse. They don't give a fuck about the consequences. And then while you're sitting there worried, oh, what will people think if I do this? You know, you not only are you still you stagnate where you are, you actually move back because the whole world is advancing, and you're just left, you know, doing nothing. You know, you might have a job right now. You think, oh yeah, actually I earn 6 figures. Everything's good. You know, are you sure AI can't do what you do? Right? If you work with spreadsheets, AI will be able to crunch those numbers much more efficient without human error. Right? Think about it. Think about how many jobs there are where people account for some degree of human error. Right? With AI, there is no human error because humans are eliminated that equation. Right? And then even if there is a problem with the AI, it will still be blamed on human error because of the human who coded the thing into AI, right? So if humans make errors, that means they are a liability, right? So machines, the elites, all these big companies, they want to get rid of human error, right? Human capital is the biggest cost to production in anything, right? Human labor, like once you like if all manufacturers could eliminate one thing, it would be human labor, because machine labor is much cheaper, it's much more efficient. There's a greater upfront cost with it, but over the long run, it's much more efficient and it can work 24/7. You know, if you're worried, if you're not worried about your job, okay, well, really think about it. Like if you should be, and if you are worried, the only thing that will save you is if you become someone who's famous, who gets paid for their opinion, for their expertise, for their ability to communicate what they've learned in depth about a subject. So, and if you're famous in your field, right? Like imagine if you're a scientist, and you spent decades researching the niche in your subject, but someone else comes along and they're very charismatic and they know half the amount of things that you do, then the more charismatic person wins because he'll be able to command, he'll be able to communicate much more efficient than you. He'll be able to convey ideas much more efficiently, and he will be seen as a subject matter expert. So you have to become a subject matter expert and be able to communicate your ideas. And again, if you want to learn how to do it, you need to work with me.
Actually, on an individual level, psychopathy might not be fantastic for the people around them, but in a tribe, it's actually quite adaptive and quite useful. It's like a weapon, like a very specific sort of weapon that you can use.
Yeah, break glass in case of war.
Yes, yes, in case of raiding party.
It makes sense that it would be sort of a legacy thing that exists in the human population, that we've had it because it was very beneficial.
It's not just a legacy thing that still exists. It's like psychopaths usually rise to the top of the fields because they are able to work relentlessly. They're able to play the political game, the power games. They're able to screw people over, fuck people over. And then their offspring stay in those circles, right? And they date amongst those circles. So you have psychopaths dating with psychopaths and ending up in the elites, which is why you have, you know, psychopaths organizations such as the World Economic Forum, right, where they want you to own nothing and be happy because they don't give a fuck about you. They want you to take all your resources, to take your jobs, take away your human rights, and they want to plug you into the Matrix. They want to plug you into virtual reality, into the metaverse. They want to numb you and hope that you fade away without reproducing. That's what they truly want. They have the capabilities to do anything, and soon they will have the capabilities to not even, like for example, one thing that the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, said was, in a few years' time, within the next decade, AI will be able to predict, machine learning will be able to predict people's temperament and or how successful they will be at a job. So instead of having people vote for a president, a public official, why not let machines, AI, do it, right? Because they'll be able to analyze the data and you can trust the data more, right? What about the back end? What if someone programs into it, actually put this person, what if someone just manipulates the data on the back end, and we the public don't know? So they'll be able to put in place whoever they want. You have no say in it. There'll be no more elections. You can't trust. I mean, right now, do you feel comfortable trusting any politician? I don't. They don't have your best interest. Whether it's Biden, Trump, Rishi Sunak, Modi, whoever you believe in. There was a documentary back in the day called The Obama Deception. Just watch that, and just watch all the things Barack Obama promised and did not deliver on. And people still think he is a role model for civilization. You can't trust these people. They're just actors. They're just very good actors. And if you can't trust them, who do you trust? There are no more leaders in the world. And therefore, I believe destiny has brought you to watch this. It has to be you. But the question is, are you willing to take that responsibility? Are you willing to test yourself? Samurais back in the day used to meditate on their death, right? That they could go into battle and possibly die. And that's how you have to think. That's the mindset you need. That I might fail at this, right? The biggest failure is death, and most likely you won't die. Making YouTube videos, you ain't gonna die. But there is this ego death where think, oh, I might get embarrassed. So what? What if that embarrassment leads you onto the path where you go and finally be successful and become the leader of the world, the leader that the people need, and bring the next generation to a world where they have a fighting chance? Because at the moment, the world is looking bleak. Doesn't it feel bleak to you? Don't you think it's, people around you are just depressed? Who do you know that's even fucking happy these days? Even religious people, they used to turn to God and you think, oh, these people are happy. Even they're not, because they're getting squeezed. Even God doesn't save you anymore. We're running out of time. I noticed that no one's gonna come and help me. No one's gonna sort the world out. Therefore, I took it upon myself to be the savior for myself, for my friends, for my family, for the people I love, for my future children and the future generations to come. If you're willing to also fight that fight, if you want to be a king, if you believe you're of royal descent and you want to fight alongside me, then I suggest you look into your life and think, all right, how do you have to become famous? How do I do it? And if you don't know how to do it, then you need to work with me. But the way I suggest is that you become a subject matter expert, make content for, and within 6 months, you'll understand the power of this, because you have a following. You get people congratulating you, people just being very impressed with the type of person who you are, because most people think that that it takes enormous balls to do it, and it kind of does. You have to be, once you put yourself out there in the public, you have to be open to scrutiny. And but like I said, there's a small chance, there's a small amount of time where you can do this before AI takes over.
Thousands of years ago.
But the difference is now that you're not going to get pulled up as much for being a psychopath, because you can move from town to town. If it was a Dunbar number of 100 or 150 or something in your tribe previously, what are you going to do? Go to the next tribe? Maybe.
You know, can you move from town to town? We're all plugging into the metaverse, right? So you might live on Earth, but we exist on the internet. And that's why you need to have a big following, because it's like, otherwise you're nobody who doesn't get seen, right? Even once you're in the metaverse, there'll be a paid version and a free version. In the paid version, there'll be Snoop Dogg will be in there, all the fun people will be in there, while you're left behind in the free version with all the other homeless people just running around. You're gonna get squeezed. You're gonna get rinsed for all your resources, and the only way to save yourself is by becoming someone who's famous.
Right. Maybe that would have happened. I don't know. Perhaps you could move from one tribe to another tribe. It seems pretty unlikely. You'd probably just get killed. But if you fuck over people one too many times, this is the reason that socially we're so careful of status. It's one of the reasons why we are concerned about public speaking, because one of the few times you would
see, most people, they're worried about their social standing. When if you're at the bottom, does it matter? Right? If you only care about, oh, what would these other losers around me think? You need to rise to the top, right? And it's very easy to do, but you just have to work consistently. Just put out content, become a subject matter expert. Your fame will grow once you become someone who's famous. All the business opportunities, all the monetary opportunities, all the money flows your way. All the social opportunities, other cool people like myself will invite you to fancy parties with the most beautiful women, with the most delicious food, big banquets, lobsters, steaks, caviar, whatever you fancy will be provided. But more than that, it will give you the power to lead humanity to its next phase, because if we don't, the World Economic Forum has a plan already lined up for us, right? And it involves numbing yourself, drugging yourself, medicating yourself. All you gotta do is pick up that book, Homo Deus by Yuval Harari, and he says, well, if humans are depressed because we why not change it via medication? Because Ritalin already exists, so why not provide a pill with no drawbacks, where you just be content with what you have, literally just numbing yourself. I don't know, I'd rather be in control of who I am. I'd rather be in control of my life, and that's why I'm building my kingdom. That's why I am ready to take on the elites and become the next generation of elites. And I want you to join me. I'm looking for 100 people who also think the same as me, who want to become an elite, who want to become a king, and then together we'll take over and fight against these psychopathic, evil people.
Have done that is when your status would have been in high focus, and people might have said, if this goes badly, they're going to drop down, or maybe you were defending yourself against the tribe of some kind.
Right.
If you're not able to move on, that would make psychopathy more difficult to manage and more likely to be punished, I think. But now you can just go from town to town to town within a city. You can go from suburb to suburb, change your name.
Psychopaths are going to take over. Psychopaths are going to drive you out of existence, finish your lineage. You know, you won't reproduce. If you have already successfully reproduced, congratulations. However, you know, what does the future look like for your children? Right? Are your children going to get brainwashed into becoming the opposite gender? Are your children going to become brainwashed by TikTok to bend over to the CCP, to China? You know, we don't know where the world is heading. Okay. The only thing that we can know is that famous people have a lot of money and they can protect themselves with a lot of money and they can speak out to the world via their platforms. And if you want power, you need fame. If you want power, you need allies, you need money. And you need to do that via building fame, via becoming someone who is looked at as an authority. And you do that by becoming a subject matter expert in whatever thing is of interest to you, whatever you find is your passion in life. Again, if that sounds like something that's of interest to you, go to royalinstinct.com. And until next time,